Y'all probably say, where exactly are you going with this? I see you really trying to take it there. Old school flows chew you out, ain't fair. Jordan.
Yo, what up YouTube? It's your boy another Zaud back at you outside this. But anyways, I just decided to do one of my videos outside. I know the video is a little bit hard to see because the lighting is actually off. Hades, don't start barking, no? But anyways, today was like one of those weird days, you know what I'm saying? This raven fell down from the thing. Hey, Yahweh. Puta. Alright YouTube, you know your boy Zaud is back. Anyways, like I said, anybody that's been trying to get my merch, you can go to Teespring. My storefront is Zaud's New World Clothing. Every first letter is a capital. World is spelled W-R-L-D, just for those who may not know how to get on there. And basically anything you want to purchase, I only got a few things up right now because a lot of stuff I erased, but go ahead and check it out. Even if you don't represent that one, like I said, you know what I mean, you can always pick up just Zaud period and be one with that new culture of dominance. And anyways, so I just wanted to get into something in particular. You know, a lot of people, and not just a lot of people, but it's just like one post I remember on IG. Sorry about that, they're playing something on the other side, and for once my dog is being quiet. But yeah, it's one of those things. I think it's like an age-old question. You know, people like to ask that, you know, what do I consider solid? And at the end of the day, it's like I've always like tried to figure out exactly what I would consider solid, which for the most part I already know. But you know, everybody considers being solid something different. Some people think it's validation of others, like so for others to say, hey, you know, you're a solid motherfucker, and respect that. Some feel that you got to go above and beyond in order to earn that solid reputation, and some are just straight idiots and do things that is guaranteed to get them locked up, and for motherfuckers just to look at them like they're dummies. Me personally, what I think being solid is always being a stand-up guy, always handling your business when you need to, always being true to what you represent, whether it be good or bad. It's just being true and backing yours up to the fullest. You know, for some people, they consider like when people say solid that you have to actually be a gang member or something of that nature, but you don't actually have to be that. To be honest, solid just means somebody that's a stand-up person. You know, I mean, in definition wise in the dictionary it may be a lot different, but it's basically somebody that's like that unmovable, you can't, there's nothing about them that's gonna change unless they want to change it. It's, you know, representing something to the fullest. Like I said, you know, if you're, whether you're hood, you know what I mean, and you represent your hood to the fullest, and in the end just stay true to yourself and never break. A lot of people, you know, like it's like when people would see me in jail and they'd be like, hey, you know what, Blackie, you're solid. You know, that shit used to make me feel, you know, good, because at the end of the day I was always up against it. There was always some type of transgression against somebody, and then it reflected on me. Like even like, and this is not to go off topic, but it's like you got these cats now that like they're rappers, and you know, some of them are homies, some are whatever, you know what I mean, but at the end of the day it's like no matter how neutral I try to stay and stay loyal to the foil, you know what I mean, I always got somebody assuming that I should pick sides because affiliation. At the end of the day it's like, and I'm not talking about, you know, actual, you know, south north beef, none of that. It's just amongst homies. Like I had put out a video about you know, raza, Latinos, whatever, being at each other's throat over bullshit, and it made absolutely no sense, because at the end it's still struggling to make it to that one plateau, and some will stepping on each other in order to get there, and in the end looking like goofballs. So I chose to point that out. But there's a lot of cats in the industry that assume that I should, because I roll with one camp on one in one interview, or I roll with something on another rapper, I show up to his show, that I should show up to every last show that I'm not invited to. Like, it's one thing I get invited to a show, and if I can make it, then I'll show up. But you know, you got people like literally expecting for me to pop up in every scenario, and I can't. You know what I mean? I'm a 40-year-old man with kids and a responsibility. You know what I mean? It's like I won't be able to do it all the time. But you know, you got those who are I consider solid, because since day one they've always rock with me. I just got glass shot by one of my homies. I won't even, people might take when I say glass shot as a bad thing, but it's just one of my homies getting at me to, you know, maybe something I said in the video, you know what I mean, I should not refrain from saying it, but just phrase it a lot better just to avoid issues in the future. And see, that's the type of constructive criticism I'm talking about. It's something to help you, not to see you, you know, like some of these cats, they'll ask me questions and they want me to wreck, and I'm just not gonna do it. And then you got the haters that mad because a motherfucker's starting to shine, and you know, for some reason they dislike it. You know what I'm saying? Spencer is getting a little dark. Like I said, I decided to do this outside so to be a more personal experience for my audience. But let's get back to what I was talking about. The whole thing about solid. Basically, I'm gonna say what I think solid once again. It's somebody that just stays true to himself, true to his friends, true to his family, and true to his responsibilities. You can be a solid motherfucker by taking care of your family and providing for them and doing what you have to do no matter what it takes in order so they benefit, they reap the benefits in the future. It's no, if I refuse to handle my business as a man and I choose to be broke, then my kids will never benefit from that. It's like inheriting you know what I'm saying, debt, you know what I mean? So I choose to handle my business and do what I must in order to make sure that when they get to a certain age and my young ones grow to their certain age, that they're feed men. So, you know what I mean? That's what I consider solid on that edge. And if it's gang wise, I consider somebody that just ain't never had no smut on his name, never folded, always kept it true to himself, always was there for his homies regardless whether it was right or wrong. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's kind of like this. Even for the ones that's been incarcerated, it's basically the same thing. You know, no matter what the homie starts, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people like, your homie was in the wrong. Yeah, he was in the wrong, but as a camarada, I'm not going to do nothing to him and front him off in front of other people. It don't matter. If you're not running with the same thing, then you're other people. It don't matter what race you are. You're other people because you don't run the same accord, you know? You're not running on the same line with us, you know what I mean? So for me to disrespect my homie by fronting him off in front of anybody else would be wild. It's like when people ask me, oh, when a fool gets at you disrespectful, how do you respond to it, Zaud? And I answer that in one of Kev Mac's videos, and it's basically in some instances you can't do absolutely nothing about it. Now if it get too disrespectful, then it's on site, and then you know we can go handle what we got to handle in the back. And if it's that, and you're only gonna do that if it's just that serious to where you can justify exactly what. But if it's a little spot and maybe somebody say something out the side of his mouth, you tend to let things of that nature go in front of everybody else because it's just you don't front your homeboy off, and that's plain and simple. Regardless, if there's an issue, we can talk about it later, but in that instance, you don't front nobody off. That's a bitch move, and it's always gonna be seen as a bitch move. Get at them in private. You know, it's like if I got issue with anybody, I pull them to the side on me, you know, I felt disrespected basically by the way you got at me, and then that's how it goes. But the ones, like I said, I consider solid is the one that's been solid since day one, have never folded, and have always kept it along the line. Like you got these ones nowadays that consider, you know, hanging on the street and packing a pistol. They consider that solid, and I'm here to tell you that's not. Solid is a motherfucker got issues and get on the street and handle it like a man with these knuckles and don't need to pick up no gun. It's a gun-free zone, you know what I mean? Them are the motherfuckers that I consider solid. Solid don't mean you're a gangbanger, you're out there killing people, because that's not solid. That's just somebody that is wreaking havoc and taking lives, and basically anybody can take life. So yeah, that's what I consider solid. And the only reason I brought this up, like I said, I seen a post and it was one of the homies, and I just decided to address it. I may have not been articulate about it. It's just basically what I consider solid. And anybody that's handling this business like a man and has a good name to itself, whether it's gang or just handling your business, you know, just like I said, as a family man, and conduct yourself in a certain way. You got dudes that I consider solid that never touched a gun in their life, never banged in their life, but they've always been true to their friends regardless, right or wrong. And if you're wrong, I can pull you to the side and we can talk about it. And if it's just something that needs to be handled like a man, then we'll handle it like a man. But at the end of the day, we let it go. I've had homies that I've got them up with just for the simple fact that we had a disagreement and couldn't come to a conclusion that was conducive to moving on. So we had to get them up, and then after that it's feedman. You'll see a lot of homies do that in jail. You know, on the deal they'll get that, and then bam, you know, whatever. But that's basically what I consider solid. Yeah, like I said, this video might not be articulate or along the line where it's just heavy thinking, because it's basically one of those videos that's just common sense. You know what I mean? It's just common sense what solid is. Just always be down for yours. Plain and simple. Some people might be like, oh, I don't think you're solid. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I ran what I ran, still kept it a good name, and I've never let my homies down. And any time it's ever cracked off, I've always handled my business. And even on the street, I still handle my, you know, if it came to that, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I slid back and I do my own thing. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be something beyond just that fool that just likes to cause havoc and think that he's the hardest motherfucker in the world. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's basically what I consider solid. For some odd reason, people wanted to hear this, and then, you know, and maybe, I don't know if it was just to see what I think or how I think, or if they just, you know, were clowning, whatever, you know what I mean? Because I noticed, like, no lie, on my IG, I know there's a lot of butthurt people because maybe you're not doing as much for them as they think you should do. But I also got a video on something I find super contradicted, but I'm gonna carry that on to the next video. For the most part, you want to enjoy the rest of your night. I'm about to get out of here. I gotta do some shopping and get my shit together, and on that note, you want to enjoy. And this your boy.
I hop on the beat and you know I'ma kill it. My nigga lose schools, you know that they drilling. I run on my money.
Kneel before Zaud.